I was born 14th of November 1931 in the Azores.
A small village of Piedad, the island of Pico, Azores.
I was born in Hanford, California.
The beautiful island of Flores, Azores.
I was born in Lajes, Terceira.
My mother's father, João or John Teixeira, came in the about 1884.
We came in about 1949.
My dad had originally come to the United States, actually with some of his brothers, and for the same reason probably most people come. They figured they could come over here, make some money, and then go back to the Azores and kind of get a head start on life. When
we left our island of Flores, there was no electricity at all on the island. There was no running water in any house. There were no roads, no cars. My brothers and sisters grew up reading and learning to read by an oil lamp.
We brought, I think, one suitcase that wasn't full. As I remember, I had one pair of shoes that I was wearing. And I think that was the same thing for my father, my mother, and my brother.
Azoreans had started settling here in the Central Valley in the 1870s. They started out as sheep herders. They developed a good reputation for being steady and willing to stay out in the field with sheep.
And I remember eating when we got home and then went to bed upstairs looking out the window. And suddenly I started crying. And my mother heard me sobbing, and she came up and she says, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, I'm scared." And she said, "Everything is going to be okay. We're going to be fine."
The food was different, you know, grocery stores were different, everything was different. And even though there was some Portuguese connections that we could grow couves and those kinds of things, it was still difficult.
My father went to milk cows at first. He had never, I don't know that he had touched a cow in the Azores, but he went to milk cows for about 3 months.
Some of my best recollections now, even as a teenager, was sitting at the Portuguese festivals underneath a shade tree and my dad talking with his friends, you know, about things that they missed.
My brother and I, we used to go to the movies in Pacific Grove. We'd see the movie 2-3 times. We go on weekends. And then we'd see them talking and doing things like knock on the door. Come in. Oh, entra, come in. Okay.
We would attend Portuguese Holy Ghost celebrations, that sort of thing. As we grew older, we participated in fraternal society organizations that promoted Portuguese culture.
So when I was growing up, my mom and dad were very adamant that we were going to continue to speak Portuguese. So at home we spoke Portuguese. And every day after school, my mom would sit us down at the kitchen table and we had our Portuguese lessons.
But the Spanish might be a little bit more suave, a little bit more romantic, because Portuguese is a little bit stronger. Like we say, porta, fecha a porta, close the door. Spanish, cierra la puerta, puerta. Everything is very soft, very nice. Cierra la puerta.
I go to the Azores every year. I love the Azores. I love Portugal. It's, I guess the way I describe it, it's my biological mother gave me life, and I look at America as being my stepmother that opened me with open arms, that treated me like one of its own. Only America this can happen.
My mother had 3 sisters who never left the islands, so their children basically all stayed there, so I have a lot of first cousins. I'm in contact with them all the time.
I still pray in Portuguese. I cook Portuguese food. Almost all the food that I cook is mainly Portuguese. I listen to Portuguese music. I go to the Portuguese festas.
I might say to somebody, I was born in the Azores, I can be an American citizen. And I'm very proud of that.
I think it's being blessed by two cultures, and two very strong cultures. You know, the culture of the U.S., which has been my home and has shaped me and made me who I am, but also the values and the culture of the Portuguese.
A lot of people refer themselves as Portuguese Americans. I like to reverse the thing. I'm an American of Portuguese descent.
I can't imagine leaving a world that you know for a world that you don't know. Thousands of miles, not knowing the language, not knowing what's going to come your way. And why are you doing it? You're doing it for the better life of your children. So I just will be eternally, forever grateful to my parents for giving me the opportunity to live in this wonderful world in between these two worlds that I live in.